Hello everyone, my name is Cheruiyot from Kenya, and I'm currently a Master of Law student at the University of Pretoria Center for Human Rights in South Africa. Today I'm glad to talk to you about a conference that I recently attended a few weeks ago, and the conference was from 16th to 21st of June 2024. And it was an international conference on just transitions and conditions of change of the global order, and it was held at the OSCE Academy in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, that's in Central Asia. The conference was based on what has been going on globally in relation to coups, coup d'etats, and coup attempts. And it was aimed at trying to find and provide a solution to the challenges that we are currently facing, and ensure that states are moving away from autocratic regimes to democratic ones. In the conference, I'm glad to have presented a research paper on the role of the African Union and the regional economic communities. That's the East African Community, the ECOWAS, the SADC, and the ECAS, that's the Economic Community of Central African States, in forging just transitions in the continent. Throughout the African continent, you realize that there have been a number of coup d'etats and coup attempts, and this has especially been in West African region. And when you look at the period between 2020 and 2023, you realize that there is a number of coups and coup attempts which have been registered, with up to 5 coup attempts and up to 9 successful coups, with the latest ones being in Niger and Gabon. That was in 2023. So when you look at these coups and coup attempts, you realize that the common thread that has been running through them is lack of accountability on the part of leaders, interference with the democratic institutions and even electoral processes. And all this is in a bid to see them continue staying in office. And that's of course despite the poor quality of the services that they are delivering to the people. And this has recently been seen in Kenya, where you see the people constantly agitating for change, and they are doing all that is necessary to ensure that they see this change and that the leaders are able to listen to their pleas. And some in other countries, when you look at Gabon, for example, have even preferred to have military regimes. And this is mainly because of the failed seemingly democratic institutions and also democratic processes. My research decries the fact that there has not been a proper coordination between the African Union and the regional economic communities in bringing to an end all these coups and coup attempts. It proposes, and I therefore propose, that there is need for them to work harmoniously and work together if lasting peace and a solution to these challenges is to be achieved in the African continent. With the regional economic communities being the building blocks of the African Union, it is imperative that they join hands together with the AU in order for the regional economic communities to implement the anti-coup normative frameworks within their regions. And this is not only tied to the anti-coup normative frameworks, but also anti-unconstitutional change normative frameworks, which is quite another challenge that has been experienced in the African continent. One of the main persisting challenges which has been seen in the continent is that the AU and the regional economic communities, despite them not working together, is that they come at the tail end of the process where democracy has already failed and the country has already gone through either a coup attempt or a successful coup. And beyond condemnation of coups and taking other measures afterwards, the African Union and the regional economic communities need to take proactive measures which are aimed at preventing coups even before they happen, and addressing the underlying concerns which the people have and which lead to all these coups. So in most of the countries in Africa, you realize that elections and electoral cycles have been institutionalized without necessarily having proper electoral accountability. And whereas elections are held constantly in different countries, some countries within in a period of 5-year time, you realize that the aspirations of the people are not reflected in elections, and there is constant interference with these elections to the extent that it has lost meaning, and it is not reflective of the needs and the demands of the people. And the AU needs to and the regional economic communities need to upscale their efforts and ensure that in those countries where elections are being held, there is proper electoral accountability. Previously, for example, you realize that the AU has termed elections to have been free and fair, but this is found, like the contrary is found by the courts, and you realize that the presence of the AU has not been fully felt in terms of ensuring electoral accountability. It is therefore imperative for the AU, working together with the regional economic communities, to call for the accountability of the leaders who are in office first of all, and at the same time ensure that there is a proper electoral accountability and that the elections are reflective of what the people intend. Importantly, in terms of resource management and economic conditions of the people, there is need for the African Union and the regional economic communities to come up with tangible solutions which are aimed at alleviating the poverty conditions of the African citizens. This includes calling out for accountability in terms of resource management on the part of leaders, and calling out leaders who have been culprits of resource mismanagements in their various states. In a number of African countries, you realize that despite the fact that they are resource endowed, this is not reflected in terms of the living conditions of the citizens. And this is, of course, in contradistinction with the lavish lifestyles that their leaders are living. And there is therefore need for the AU and the regional economic communities to take proper actions, and candid discussions ought to be conducted. And by all means necessary, the corrupt leaders ought to be held accountable for the improper actions that they are taking, and their ulterior motives, which are mainly aimed at enriching themselves at the expense of the citizens. There is therefore an urgent need for concerted efforts to be taken, which are aimed at addressing the underlying conditions which have been seen to lead to all these coups and coup attempts. And this should mainly be aimed at or focused on changing the lives of the people and addressing the issues such as interference with the democratic institutions and even electoral institutions. This can only be done effectively if the African Union and the regional economic communities and other relevant stakeholders can join hands together with a common purpose of changing the lives of the people and strengthening the African democracies. Thank you.